Goldstein here. Another phenomenal sunset to bring some peace to all of our lives. It was a particularly stressful day for me today. I don't know why, just driving back and forth to Jerusalem had me in multiple conflicts with multiple people. So I figured, in order to bring a breath of fresh air to the day for everyone, I'm going to come out here and we're going to learn Torah. We're not actually doing Psalms. We're going to be reading from the Bible itself because I really wanted to go directly to the source in honor of a lifetime of beauty and of joy and of motivation and of warmth and of smiles that represented Dr. Ed Wiener, a man that every single person within my community, from young to old, without any question or hesitation, when you mention his beautiful name, a smile comes to your face. You remember the embrace that you felt was only for you. And in reality, he touched the lives of every single person who ever walked around him, behind him, or in front of him. He was a leader on the court, All-American, NBA, University of Tennessee. And we're going to listen to some Rockytop tonight after we listen to the Hatikva in that man's honor. I don't think Rockytop has ever been played over these hills, but it's going to be tonight. That isn't the original fight song for the Tennessee Vols, but it's the best we can do. So, Poppy, the Torah we're learning, all of us watching, please do him a favor. A man that quite literally left joy like breadcrumbs, like footprints in the sand, everywhere he tread. Everybody just close your eyes and take it upon yourself that tonight's Torah session for the next couple of minutes is going to be in Poppy's honor. Dr. Ed Wiener, a legend, a beautiful family man, and a man we should all aspire to look up to and emulate when we think of joy of life. We're working right now on the book of Numbers, chapter 32. Join me. Umikne Rav Hoyo Livnei Reuven V'Livnei Gad Atzum Ma'od. The children of Reuben and the children of God had abundant livestock, very great. V'yiru et Eretz Ya'azer ve'et Eretz Gilad v'hineh hamakom makom mikneh. They saw the land of Yazer and the land of Gilad, and behold, the place was a place for livestock. V'yavo b'nei Gad u'b'nei Reuven v'yomer el Moshe ve'el Elazar HaKohen ve'el Nasiei ha'edah lemor atarot v'divon v'yazer v'nimro v'cheshbon ve'el ele usovam unvo uvaon. The children of God and the children of Reuben came and said to Moses, to Elazar the Kohen, the priest, and to the leaders of the assembly, saying, Atarot and Dibon and Yazer and Nimra and Cheshbon and El Elah and Sebem and Nebo and Beon, the land that Hashem smote before the assembly of Israel, it is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. Interesting. They're mentioning their livestock. They're placing their possessions. Again, we're about to read this portion in the Torah during the Sabbath. These are Jews who are about to take over the land of Israel. They're being tasked with a military conquest. And these are the most military, sectioned, trained warriors throughout the tribes. And they're saying, hey, look, Moses, we're good. We're not going to actually settle within the land that God promised us. We're going to settle on the eastern side, where Jordan is right now, a place that isn't a part of the borders of Israel at the time. It's a problem. Why did they mention their livestock? This land is great for livestock. Translate that into modern day. Look, we're going to stay where we are because the land I'm in is great for business. It's great for real estate. It's great for my insurance practice. It's great for my medical practice. Whatever. It's no different. Hold on. I have to change that because you deserve this. So they said to him, If we found favor in your eyes, yutan et haaretz hazot lavdecha la'achuza al ta'avrenu et hayarden. Vayomer Moshe livnei Gad v'livnei Reuven ha'achechem yavo lemilchama v'atem teshvu ho. So they said, if we have found favor in your eyes, Moses and Elazar and the wise men of the assemblies, let this land be given to your servants as a heritage. Do not bring us across the Jordan. Sounds like they're trying to escape the responsibilities of conquering the land of Israel. Bad idea. Moses didn't quite seem to like it. As follows: Moses said to the children of God and the children of Reuben, shall your brothers go out to battle while you settle here? You're outside of the borders, we're bleeding, we're fighting, and you're sitting here? Why do you dissuade the heart of the children of Israel from crossing the land? And this is a message actually for the leaders of our generation outside of these borders. And that's very important to understand, because this is a continuation of the sin of the spies, as Moses is about to tell them. Why do you dissuade the heart of the children of Israel from crossing to the land that Hashem has given you, has given them? This is what your fathers did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. He's talking about the spies who went out and gave a horrible report to the entire nation on the land of Israel, which led to 40 years of wandering the desert, and eventually, as far as I'm concerned, 2,000 years of being apart from this land. So, this is a question that I'm going to present to you, and we're going to tie it into something in 1 second. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro. So he says, this is what your fathers did. You're doing the same thing. You're repeating history. You're staying outside of the land. You're promoting evil on Israel. And again, there's rabbis outside of these borders who are quite literally telling their congregants, look, Israel may not be the best place for you. It may not be. You're better off where you are. And in reality, you can't quite possibly call yourself a rabbi, I don't believe, and lead a congregation of Jews who pull out a Torah twice a week, plus on Shabbat and the holidays, and tell them that Israel is not their ultimate goal. Anything beyond that, and it is the continuation of that sin of the spies. As hard of a pill that might be to swallow for many, many people. So he's telling them they went up to the valley of Eshcol and they saw the land and they dissuaded the heart of the children of Israel not to come. Not to come to the land that Hashem has given them. The wrath of Hashem burned on that day, and he swore, saying, if these men who came up from Egypt from the age of 20 years and above will see the ground that I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, for they have not followed me fully, except for Caleb, the son of Yefuneh, the Kenizzite, and Yeshua, the son of Nun, for they followed Hashem fully. The wrath of Hashem burned against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until the end of the entire generation that did evil in the eyes of Hashem. Now remember, Moses is explaining this to the leaders of the tribes right now. But shouldn't they know this story already? Shouldn't this be a tale that's been told from their father on? And it's a valid question. Why does Moses have to re-explain this to them? One answer could be he wants to fully show them what happens when you fail to fully and completely, with all of your heart, soul, and resources, to take over the land of Israel. God isn't asking us to do it. God is commanding us to do it. It's not really a choice at this point. Here's Israel. There's the airports. Come on now. Follow that commandment. So Moses is saying, this isn't the right path to take. If you take this, you're doomed for failure. So he's saying, you had to wander in the desert until the end of that entire generation died off. That generation that did evil in the eyes of Hashem. Behold, you have risen up in place of your fathers. You're doing the same thing as them. If you fail to learn from your history, you're doomed to repeat it. Again, there's nothing new under the sun. This is just different ways of saying it. You will rise up in place of your fathers, a society of sinful people, to add more to the burning wrath of Hashem against Israel. For if you will turn away from after him, he will again let it rest in the wilderness, and you will destroy his entire people. And then they said, well, wait a second, hold on. Let's clarify that statement. So they approached Moses and Eleazar the priest, and they said, pens for the flock shall we build here for our livestock, and cities for our small children. We shall arm ourselves swiftly in the vanguard of the children of Israel, until we will have brought them to their place, and our small children will dwell in the fortified cities before the inhabitants of the land. So they're saying, look, Moses, wait a second. We are ready to fully commit ourselves to the attack. We will be there side by side, shoulder to shoulder in the land of Israel with you. We will be fighting the enemy. We will clear that land of evil. We will do our part in this heavenly contract between the Jewish nation and God. But what did they say first? Everything has meaning in the Torah. So they approached Moses, and what did they say first? Pens for the flock shall we build here for our livestock. And then what did they say? Cities for our small children. And what are they telling us? What are they trying to hint to Moses, the most modest man in history, a man who quite literally represents godliness on earth through receiving the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai, not once but twice? They're telling him the most important thing to us is our livelihood. We're going to stay here so we can build up our pens. We're going to stay here so we can continue to build up our real estate investment portfolio. We're going to stay here so we add any excuse in the book. It was their greed that kept them outside of this land. If you notice, one of the names of the people that was mentioned by God and Reuben was Heshbon. And Heshbon, Hebrew, the English of Heshbon means to settle up, like the score, the bill, the total, the cost of something. And they say in order to move to Israel from outside of these borders, you first have to kill the king of Heshbon, just like the Jewish nation had to kill the king of Heshbon, the king of this clan, before they were able to enter the land. So too, we, as a nation, have to get over the idea that it's not pens for our sheep and for our cattle. It isn't the real estate that we hold outside of these borders that matters at all. Not even one bit. And when I say real estate, you can equate that to anything in your life that is financially preventing you from getting on your wings of eagles and coming home. And Moses himself was reproaching the wisest men of that generation, men who, by the way, were raised in God's palm in the desert, who only knew miracle in their life. So yeah, it's hard to come home. It's hard for some of our greatest to come home. And then Moses tells them, okay, look, if you do this thing, if you arm yourselves before Hashem for the battle, and every armed man among you shall cross the Jordan before Hashem, until he drives out his enemies before him. And the land shall be conquered before Hashem, and then you shall return. Then you shall be vindicated from Hashem. So you're vindicated before God, spiritually, and from Israel you're vindicated. So it's showing it's important. Your actions, your thoughts, what you accentuate to others matters too. It isn't just that only God can judge. It's that you have to make certain that your actions are also in line so that when other people see you, they see godliness. They see a proper path. It doesn't lead them astray to think, this person isn't doing what they should be doing. And that's tough for a lot of people to swallow because we tell ourselves, We don't owe anything to anybody but God. And here's Moses telling us differently. It isn't just godliness that we have to be concerned with. It's also our fellow human next to us. Very quickly, we're done. We're going on to some beautiful music. So bear with me for just one more second. And again, we're learning Torah in honor of a lifetime of beauty for Dr. Ed Wiener, a magnificent human being that everybody should emulate as far as joy of life, simcha, family, values, leadership, everything you can imagine he encompassed, like a Swiss Army knife, for goodness. So Moses is telling them, cross the Jordan. Hashem will then drive out the enemies from before him, and the land shall be conquered before Hashem. Then, and only then, shall you return. Then you're vindicated from Hashem and Israel, and this land shall be a heritage for your sin. And this land shall be a heritage for you before Hashem. But if you do not do so, behold, you will have sinned to Hashem. Know your sin that will encounter you. Build for yourselves cities for your small children, and pens for your flock. And what has come from your mouth shall you do. And now this is interesting. You hear what Moses just said? He said as kind of a passive reproach to them, where they said, we're going to build pens for our flock and cities for our small children. They had their priorities a little messed up. Moses corrects them gently, and he says, build for yourselves cities for your small children. Get your priorities straight. And then pens for your flock. And that's a lesson too, because in this land, it's a land built for children. You're in a restaurant here, the kids are all running wild and screaming. They're not building the pens for their flock first. They're building cities for their children. Everywhere, no matter where you are here in this land. Judea, Samaria, by the Gaza border, Tel Aviv, the Golan Heights, all the way down throughout it to Eilat. Children are playing throughout the night in their backyards, front yards, in the streets. No worries. Do you have that freedom in your life? Where you live in Brooklyn, in Florida, in California, anywhere in between. Do you have that peace of mind in your life? So, then the children of Gad and Reuben, I'll just sum it up because it's getting late. And thank you for spending time learning Torah. And I know it's long, but the more Torah we learn, the more merit that we can all generate, the more energy, the more spiritual energy that we can bring to the world, the more light. And that light is needed right now. Needed not just for the Rapp family, not just for the Wiener family, but for the whole world. We need this light. And it's shining bright through these books. So, to sum it all up, those two tribes understood what Moses was trying to tell him. They got the hint. Get the hint. All of you, get the hint of what you are being told by today's Moses, by today's actions, by today's real leaders. Not those who hide behind their pulpit and claim one thing, or not those that beat their breast and claim that they cannot wait to be in Jerusalem, yet tell you that Jerusalem really isn't the place for you right now, only when it gets worse. We cannot continue to feed the sin of the spies. All of us have that responsibility. Dr. Wiener, his wife Rochelle, the entire Wiener and Rapp family, they love this land immensely. He loved the land of Israel tremendously. His grandchildren are here. They served in the IDF. They live here. What a legacy. So God bless you. God bless you, Poppy. God bless you for bringing all of us joy and life and light. And I hope that this Torah has reached enough people by tomorrow to where you are smiling, watching over all of us from the heavenly realm. Of that I have no doubt. We're going to play Atikva, and then we're going to play Rockytop for all you Vols fans. God bless you from Israel. Thank you for being here with me. talking? Tennessee, Rockytop, Tennessee. Oh yeah, come on now. This reminds me of home. With a lowercase h. Dr. Ed Wiener was an All-American with University of Tennessee basketball. He was an NBA player. He was a warrior for the United States Army. He was a doctor with a 50-year plus career. He was a family man. He was a community man. He was a beautiful Jew. And the legacy he leaves is his beautiful, magnificent family who are taking this world by storm right here in Israel. Rockytop, Tennessee. Rockytop, Tennessee. Woo-how! Now we talking. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. God bless the rap family. God bless you, Rochelle, with comfort. I don't know how it is to be with somebody for so many years of your life and then they're not there anymore next to you. Especially somebody that beautiful. It's like the sun just went poof. So we brought a little light and Torah and life and peace and unity on behalf of his name. God bless you, Poppy. God bless us all.